Okay, let's see if we can get a game here. This is my first video since my operation, so just make a video here, let you know I'm all healthy and doing well. Let's see, we got Oberfield. Haven't made one of these Blitz and rapid videos in a long time. We'll see how it goes. He's playing at d4. I'm going to play a kind of anti-London system that I've been experimenting with. It's basically a Queen's Indian. He's not playing the London system. What is this then? Well, maybe I can play it like a like an Alekhans defense, where I try and encourage that pawn to come forward. He doesn't want to come forward. Okay, I'll just go with this. Go with the traditional Queen's Indian kind of setup. I can pin this knight here. He kicks it. I could trade it. Makes castling easy. Solves the problem with the dark squared bishop. Let's see. So it's been a couple years since my last Blitz and Rapid video, and my rating has dropped about 100 points, it looks like. But, well, that happens. What are we doing here? Just prepare either d5 or c5. Yeah, actually, I didn't consider that too much. I mean, I planned to take, but he could have maybe moved his knight away and left my bishop stranded out there with nothing to take. Might have been awkward. So yeah, definitely I'm going for e5 here to shut in his light squared bishop. And he's moving very quickly. So we got to try not to fall too far behind. I should have a comfortable position here, I think. Maybe rook to the c file and push the c pawn. Yeah, maybe I do that anyway. If I push all the way, it locks up, but I could push, I mean, if I do a double push and he takes on passant, leaves a backwards pawn here, but gives me some dynamic possibilities. But it could just ignore it and then it's locked up, and I don't like that so much. Let's go with c6. This gives me a partially open file. Backwards pawn to attack. Bring the knight around and play f. Bring the knight around and play f5 here. Maybe he can take, of course. Just bringing the knight around might be good, though. Let's see, so I can take. And I've got a good outpost for this knight, and there's nothing to stop me from playing f5. He can take the pawn. Shall I let him have the pawn? Does he get trapped? That would have been interesting. He takes, I put rook here. He can't go here. The queen covers these squares, so maybe he was trapped. This was covered, so this was indirectly protected. Convenient, that. Okay, so now we can push f5. Anyway, we're certainly away from all the London system ideas here, so this is good. From my point of view, got into something different. So I could pile up on this pawn, maybe. Or try to push this one forward. How about queen to f6? He brings his knight here to attack my rook. Let's drop back first and then queen f6. Pile up on the f file and then push the e pawn. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know and weren't following my channel recently, I had an operation in the middle of January, and I'm in the rehab period for it now. Still feel a little dizzy. It involved the ear. They had to cut the vestibular nerve, which controls your balance and things like that. So So I'm still adapting to it. Takes a while. If I push, what happens? He takes, I take, he takes. I guess that's not so great, huh? So I blockade first and then push. Yeah, I'm going to ignore that. So I push now, he takes, I take, he takes, I take, he takes, and I get my rook here. At the cost of a pawn. If he moves the knight, then I can have this fork in here. But for now, it's covered. One idea was to swing the rook over here and attack that file, that pawn. Not that way. Okay, well, this threatens to take there anyway because of the pin. So I can take. If he takes, I take back. Oh, he can't take. Takes the queen, I take back. Yeah, so it's basically just ignored the threat. Okay, so he's going to try and force my rook to an awkward square. Let's see. Not sure where I want to put it. I mean, he can take this pawn probably at some point, so it's not like I have solidly what a pawn here. I can dance around with my knight a little bit. Here to attack here. Plus I gain the tempo on the rook right now. I noticed that. Okay. Push here, he takes. And I can attack his knight. Oh, he can take with the knight. I was silly. He can take with the knight. Yeah, I didn't mean to do that. And this knight is no longer guarding an important square. I get this anyway. That's what I was going for, but really didn't need to sacrifice a pawn to make that move. Now this is loose. Can attack his knight here. Attack his rook with my knight. Getting a little dangerous for him. A check here would drive his king to this square. And there'd be a check here. But I don't see the follow-up. Depends on what he makes this move. Depends on where he goes this move. He just went for defense here. Can keep piling on. Now, should I take with the... oh, he's going to take this one. Okay, so I should take here with check. I guess. He's going to win this pawn. But I'll activate my rook. That should be good, right? Oh, he sacrificed the exchange. I wasn't really expecting him to do that. Anyway, my idea is to take this pawn and start checking his king. I was worried about this one, but because he can take here with check, but my rook is guarding that. Or here with check. And I'll just walk towards his knight, I guess. Walk towards his rook, I mean. Just stop the checks. So yeah, at this point, there's a check there. And then I take the knight. And I won. Okay, so that does the Blitz game. Let's see if we can get a rapid game here. Here we go, Romeo. Black again. Oh, Romeo, wherefore shall I play Romeo? Looks like Romeo's going to bail on this one. Oh no, there he goes. All right. So let's go for a Sicilian. The what was there was one other thing I wanted to say. I've forgotten it now. Oh, I'm not showing my face. I haven't shaven today, and but the operation didn't affect things much. There's a little swelling around my face too. I'm not sure what that is, so I'm preferably gonna do videos without my pretty face on it for a while. Okay, looks like we have a traditional Sicilian. I have just been playing the normal moves, but my plan is usually to play the classical Sicilian. I think that's what I'll do in this game. If he follows the normal pattern of knight to c3, I'll play knight c6, and that'll be the classical Sicilian. It's at this point they have a lot of choices. Instead of knight c6, you had a6 would be the Najdorf, or b6 would be the dragon, or e6 would be the Scheveningen, something like that. But I like this. It's a flexible setup. There are sharp lines that white can play against it, which can lead sometimes to awkward positions for black, but they're all survivable, and it's a little bit off the beaten track. Actually, in the database I was using, this was the most popular move, but it seems to have fallen out of favor in terms of actual play among amateurs and professionals as well. So even though it's popular in the database, it's really not that popular in real life. So if you learn it, then you'll have a way to play against your opponent that might catch them by surprise. And if they're playing in a rapid game like this, they can go look up what they should play in the book if they want to. Just kidding. I don't think that's correct. I don't think you're supposed to do that. So anyway, yeah, the sharp lines I was talking about, the bishop comes out here to put pressure on the knight. Or sometimes this bishop will come out here and look on this diagonal. And usually if they play that way, you're kind of forced to move the e-pawn. When they play this way, when they play with the bishop to e3, a lot of times they're going for a standard setup where they'll castle queenside and do some quick attack over here. So a nice way to kind of slow that down and blunt it is to play e5 in exactly this position. So I think I can recommend this move. And then I play it in a way that's a little bit different. I made a little bit non-standard. After his knight moves, I'm thinking of bringing the bishop out here and then pushing this pawn forward and just dissolving the backwards pawn immediately. Now, if you look it up in the opening book or with the chess engine, you don't need to do that. You don't have to dissolve that pawn right away. You can live with this backwards pawn and still get a decent game. But it is playable, even if it's not absolutely the best. And once again, it's not the most common type of response. Just have to be careful. Take care of your remaining e-pawn. Make sure you don't give it away for nothing. I think it's slightly better for white to have retreated his knight over to this side than this side, but I can't complain. Over here, the advantage of putting the knight on f3 is it continues to look at the center pawn, the e5 pawn, so advantages to putting it there too. But if he puts the knight over here, maybe he's thinking actually of going back to a castling queenside type, castling kingside. Maybe he's going to put his king over here. Just have a traditional kind of setup. Then it should be a pretty even game if he does that. Yeah, he's pinning that knight. I think that is something that does not matter. It's not... oh, no, it does matter. No, I need it. If I can't push this pawn forward while this knight is pinned, or I run the risk of losing it. So let's just develop my bishop, though. Well, okay, can I do something more active? I could bring my queen out here, pin the knight. But it doesn't really threaten anything. Let's kick it once. Kick that bishop once and see what it does. So since I never played a6, this wasn't the Najdorf, then I play it now, but I kind of get it for free, right? I got that move a6 in, and he had to respond with a bishop move. He either had to give up the bishop pair or retreat, so I could regard that as a kind of success. And now I can actually play, since he decided to retreat, I could play d5 here. He takes, knight takes, knight takes, either bishop or queen takes. I think I would do bishop takes. Yeah, let's do that. I'll show you this, my typical way of playing this position. Which, as I said before, may not be best, but it's certainly playable. And I think with the moves that white has made so far in this game, that it should lead to about an even position. And he has to take, pretty much. I mean, I'm threatening this fork. It's pretty nasty. Yeah, there he goes, takes it. And they usually take again, but it's not necessary, I don't think. He could just castle. If I took, it would double his pawns, but it would give him an open file against my b pawn here. If he doesn't take and he doesn't castle, then I can pin that knight. Might be interesting. But so he'll probably do one or the other. He'll probably take my knight or castle. I guess I also have the option of taking his bishop if he doesn't take. Yeah, so he takes, as expected. So here we go. And, you know, if you really want to get the queens off, you could take with the queen there. And, get into some kind of complicated queenless middle game. So I didn't see the value of bringing the dark squared bishop out to b5. Maybe there's a value in putting it there, I don't know. But it seems like it could just get kicked, and he wants to play c3 anyway, I would imagine. Similarly with knight b5. If I had gone knight b5, I'm not really threatening anything. So I'm just moving the bishop out of the way so I can castle. And let white solve the problem of where he is going to put his pieces. So he did. He also did decide to castle kingside. I was talking about that earlier. He can kick the bishop back and trade queens if he wants. I'm not going to be afraid of that. I'm not going to let that affect my strategy here. Now this is interesting. So he's going to attack the b pawn, but he has stuck his queen somewhere where it's supporting a pawn, but this pawn is actually pinned against the queen. So if I go here, for example, I am threatening to play a knight to a5. He can go there. Okay, so maybe this was not accurate. Okay, well, I still want to keep that pawn. We'll do it like this. I have to keep in mind, yeah, that this pawn needs protection. Let's just protect it securely with f3. I already have a bishop here on f6, rather. I already have a bishop on e6, so I will have no trouble castling, I don't think. And this open line towards my king will not be a problem. Should not be a problem, at least, not at first. And there's still maybe a threat to attack here. We'll see. Need to castle and get my rooks on the game. Yeah, let's just go ahead and do that. He has his bishop. Yeah, it's kind of an awkward spot for me where he put his bishop. Let's see if I can find a way to deal with that. If I move the knight out of the way, well, one thing I could do is play bishop b5 now. See where his queen goes. Especially since he just blocked it. He will probably play queen to c2. And then I could play, yeah, let's think about this a little bit. Say he goes queen c2, I play g6. And then he could play knight to that probably would not be good. Knight to h4, hitting the pawn on g6, but then I could play f5 here. So this would be blunted. I'd be threatening to push here. Maybe I could just play f5 immediately. He goes queen c2, I go f5. He can't actually take it because I've got the queen and the bishop on it. Okay, so let's not worry about queen c2. Let's just poke that bishop and poke that queen with my bishop. And with the queen off this diagonal, then yeah, that's all the more reason why I can play f5. f5 maybe followed by e4. Might be kind of scary for him. So if I go f5, threatening e4, and he moves the knight, I could play e4 anyway. He drops the bishop back. And he's got a loose bishop here. So yeah, the threat is e4 here. So should I play e4? I mean, I could take and play e4, or I could just retreat, still with the threat of e4. The thing is, let's see, if I let him take, and I take back with the knight, hitting the queen. Queen moves, I take, and then I push, I get the fork. I start with the fork. I push, he takes, I take, he takes, and then I take here. Why not just drop back? It's tempting to get my knight to this b5 square, hitting the queen and the bishop, but I couldn't quite see the way to do it. Having an extra piece guarding this d8 square may be useful too. Knight could be free to move, and I would still have this covered. And the other thing the bishop does here is it, it guards these squares that the knight might go to. So yeah, my idea is to take the knight if it comes here. I still want to do that? I think so. Get my queen off the back. Get my queen off that back rank. Now, if I take, he takes, I take, he takes. So if I put the rook here, I'm threatening to take this pawn, am I not? The two bishops guard all these entry points. It's very nice having a pair of bishops lined up next to an open file. His bishop also is poking into this file here, so it looks like this kind of an indirect fight with the bishops over these points. I mean, normally I would be thinking of opposing rooks, but obviously I can't do that. He might just defend this pawn, right? Just push. He should probably just push b5 himself. I also have, I have to be careful, right? I want to play this move, but when I do that, it releases control of this square. So I have to have an answer for that first. But this is kind of funny, isn't it? Didn't he just release control of this pawn? I just take it. He could try and pin it, but my queen's defended. I don't know, it seems like he just gave up control of that pawn. Hitting my bishop, yeah. True, true, true. But to me, it looks like I'm just a pawn up. He has an active rook. He can exploit this in some way. This pawn is defended. He can attack these, yeah. So I'll take once, the queen will take, and then play up here. Okay, so what now? Just get these things going. If he trades, then I'll have an attack on this pawn. If he moves it, I can attack this pawn. If he attacks this one, I take here. Okay, so he's not going to trade. He's going to try and defend. Okay, I have an idea here. I'm looking to defend the G pawn here. And I'm also looking to bring my rook down here. Ah, so he covered that square. So what can I do? I have to be careful. Let's see, I lift up. He goes here, check, I take. He goes back, check. It is dangerous. So let's just neutralize things here. I'm 2 pawns up. If I get control of this square, then we can neutralize along this D file. Yeah, and we're all good. He didn't want to trade queens and go into a losing end game, but then he had to give up this diagonal, which gave me control of the DH square. So that was key there. Yeah, he does get that check. And if I block, then this is under defended, so I have to go here. I should have been more careful there. If he had a check that would somehow give him another piece on this pawn, this square, that would have been trouble for me. But fortunately for me, his check only defended his pawn, his knight. It didn't, his rook. It did not attack mine. But that's the kind of thing you should check before. The kind of thing you should check before making the move. Okay, so he can mate me here. So let's not allow that. Just bring these guys into alignment. And yeah, exactly. My thoughts exactly. He could have maybe played this move. He did it. He could have maybe played that the move before. Oh, no, he couldn't have because my queen was looking here. So he was waiting. But now that he's gone there, I can play, let's think about it. My idea is to play here. He takes, I take, he takes. I don't know. Maybe I should give the check. So I push. He takes the pawn. I take with check. I don't know, let's do this. Changing my mind. Defended my pawn. Maybe he can do something over here. I have to be careful. Okay, he's hitting this guy. Just step back to defend. Oh, he was waiting for that. No, this is not pinned. I don't know what he was waiting for. Oh, he hit my queen. Okay, he found a nice way out of that. Yeah, let's go call that a game. Here, let's take a second. Oh, no, no, wrong one. I meant to resign. That was accidental. Let's take a look at the analysis board for just a second, because I'm pretty sure this was a simple win here. Minus 2.6, okay. And I should bring my king back here. Yeah, okay, the key point, you always got to be alert. You always have to be alert. The key point is in the game, when he moved his queen here, I saw that he was hitting my rook. And I did not pay attention, did not notice that his queen and my queen were on the same file, which means that I can't allow this rook to move with check. And so when I played here, that allows the rook move with check. And I didn't even see it at this point. I was saying, what? Why can't I just take it? I thought he was going to try and take advantage of a pin here or something, but I just wasn't seeing this. And okay, very simple, but I think a nice game altogether. So I hope you guys enjoyed this Blitz and Rapid session, and maybe I'll do some more of these. See you later. Bye.